On today's show, we've been waiting for it. The James Harden scoring flurry game finally came, and it was against the Washington Wizards. His highest scoring game as a Clipper en route to a big W. Going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You were locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA and in my 20th season as a Clipper fan. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod and subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, where I went live directly after the game to give my raw reaction. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section what you thought of the game and hit the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video. And if you can't watch on video, you can always listen wherever you get your podcasts. And Locked On Clippers now has a daily newsletter. The Locked On Clippers daily newsletter, written by yours truly, one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Just sign up for free now at lockedondaily.com. That's lockedondaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Clippers newsletter. And this episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Just visit fanduel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Happy Thanksgiving, Clipper Nation. 20 games into the season. We are 12-8. I am very thankful for this amazing fan base and all you listeners that support this show on a daily basis. And it's very much my pleasure to bring you a pod on Thanksgiving of a win, a big win in Washington by a score of 121-96. Going to be talking about the overdue big-time scoring game from James Harden, the performance of Ivica Zubac, and the garbage time homegrown cooking we had from Jordan Miller and Terrence Mann. But let's begin with James Harden. James Harden's been our MVP this season. He has been the most valuable player. Without him, how would we be creating shots? Without him, who would be leading this offense? This is what James Harden does. He is an all-time floor raiser, meaning that you give him decent players, but not even that many shot creators. And just by the virtue of him being such a great one-man shot creator, you can get enough good shots throughout a game to have a competitive team. And he's not just surrounded by okay players. He's surrounded by okay offensive players, but exceptional defenders. A top 5 defense in the league. And I said in the preview for this game that the Washington Wizards have the worst defense in the NBA by defensive rating, dead last. So it was an opportunity for James Harden to carve them apart. And it started out that way. He had 2 layups right away where Alex Sarr, the center for the Wizards, who is a rookie, the second pick in the draft, seems like he has a lot of athletic potential, but still hasn't put it all together yet. He was in drop coverage, and James just walked right into 2 layups. And then early on, he rejected a screen for a 3 going to his right, pull up. Then another one, he was targeting Jordan Poole in the pick and roll left and right. And I mentioned that in the preview. Let's see James Harden try to attack Jordan Poole. He tried over and over again to get Poole switched on to him. And several times to start the game, the Wizards were showing and recovering with Poole no matter where the screen was being set. So if James Harden called for the screen 30 feet away from the basket, they were essentially throwing 2 at James Harden, and that was allowing Chris Dunn to get into the short roll. And he made a really nice pass in the corner at one point to Derrick Jones Jr., who attacked the closeout and went up and under for that one-handed layup. That was absolutely beautiful. But those short roll situations were very advantageous for us. They all start with James Harden getting 2 on the ball, but Chris Dunn's done a good job of creating good shots out of those 4-on-3s. But James Harden just started getting really hot in that first quarter. He had a snatchback on Jordan Poole where he created a ton of space, hit a 3. He had 2 sidestep 3s, and then that last one he hit when he switched his target from Jordan Poole to Corey Kispert. Corey Kispert came in the game. James kept on putting him in the action, kept on getting him switched on to him, and he was licking his chops. I mean, he was like, this is food. That last three he hit, just kind of walking into that contested three, draining it, that's when you knew he was scorching. The crowd, even though it was a road game, was oohing and ahhing all over the place. And I've seen James Harden go nuclear like that throughout his career several times. But for the Clippers, the only one that really comes to mind is that game at Indiana. I would put this one right on that level. But due to the 23-point first quarter that he had, and he was creating good shots when he was getting doubled on those screen and rolls, as I mentioned, getting the ball to those guys in the short roll. Due to that 23-point first quarter, he had a Clipper career high. 43 points on the game. His first 40-plus point game as a Clipper. His first 40-plus point game since Game 4 of the second round playoff series against the Boston Celtics as a member of the Philadelphia 76ers. And as I said, it was long overdue, especially in a season where James Harden is being asked to do so much. He's got the ball in his hand so much. He's got the ultimate green light. I was wondering when that 40-point game was going to come, and it came. So 43 points, couple of threes in the second half in the third quarter, back to back. But James was on one. He was dominant. He was the best player on the floor by a landslide. And take a listen to these shooting splits. He scored 43 points to go along with 4 boards, 7 assists, 3 steals, did turn the ball over 4 times, but he shot 13 for 22 from the field and 7 for 11 from 3. Just wait till we see. That's 13 for 22. Just wait till we see the increase in his field goal percentage for the season with that. He shot 10 for 11 from the free throw line in 32 minutes en route to a 121-96 win. Great bounce back from that Boston game, taking care of business and handing the Wizards their 13th straight loss of the season, or 13th straight loss. James Harden was doing a great job finding Ivica Zubac, finding open shooters, but I also just loved how much he was getting in the paint. He was getting 2 feet in the paint, left and right, and I've been saying the last couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks, that he's looking like he's getting his shot back, looking like he's getting his burst back. In the Boston game, he blew by Jaylen Brown, he blew by Derek White. He is looking like the best version that he looked like last year at this point of the season right now, and I have a feeling the best is still coming from him. Now, the question is, given that he's playing every game, how will he look games 50, 60, and onwards? That's a concern. But so far, he's looking good. He's honestly looking even better, and he had arguably his best game as a Clipper in this one. For me, the best game he's ever had as a Clipper was Game 4 against the Dallas Mavericks. I think the way he closed that game, he shot super well, still had 30-plus points against a much better team. Whereas in this one, he's playing against the worst defense in the NBA, and there's no surprise for me that he can dominate them. But nonetheless, huge win led by him. But coming up, going to talk more about the big fella, the second best player in this game, Ivica Zubac, or as we know him some other nights, Ivica, you know what the word is. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. And as far as FanDuel's NFL odds, well, Thanksgiving football is a big-time tradition. We got the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. And the Detroit Lions are -9.5 for that one. But we also have the NFC East matchup between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are -3.5 for that one at AT&T Stadium. And then we've got the Dolphins and the Packers. The Packers are -3.5 for that. And then the nightcap, Raiders and Chiefs. The Chiefs -12.5. So where do you go for that? You got to go to FanDuel. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. All right, Clippers winning this one 121-96. Moving on to 4-1 without Norman Powell. I mean, who would have thought that? You know, given that we already don't have Kawhi Leonard, and now that's 20 games gone by without Kawhi, and we're 12-8. Let's say Kawhi was to come back tomorrow, which he's not. We have successfully survived the first 20 games without him. And it's in large part due to James Harden, but also Norman Powell, who we didn't have. But the fact that we're 4-1 without him is a testament to James and also this guy, Ivica Zubac, who in this game was Ivica Zubac, baby. He was literally shutting off the rim. In the beginning of the game, he was playing drop coverage all game. And because the Wizards don't have a pick and pop big, so like we faced Porzingis on, Monday? And having a pick and pop big against us was a real problem because Zoo likes to play drop coverage. He likes to shut off the rim. They're stretching the defense. Alex Sarr, his shooting splits are pretty terrible so far to start this season, shooting just 38% from the field and I believe 24% from three. So, of course, we're going to let him shoot all day long. And the Wizards clearly showed me that they have no in-between game. I think their best guy for that would be Kyle Kuzma or Jordan Poole, but none of them are very convincing. And I thought Jordan Poole wasn't going to play. He was on the injury report on Wednesday, but then he ended up playing. And honestly, he might as well have not played because it felt like he was literally like point shaving, throwing the ball away, looking super lazy. I really don't know what kind of performance that was from him. He was 1 for 7 from the field and turned the ball over 6 times. And we forced 20 Wizards turnovers and turned that into 31 points for us. So we already know we have struggles in the half court offensively. How do we make it easier to score? We create turnovers, we get stops, and we get out and run with our athletes. But in the slow half-court offense, James Harden and Ivica Zubac dominate. So defensively, I thought Zoo was just shutting off the rim. Everything around the basket, he was taken away. They have no in-between games, so we're forcing them to shoot outside shots, and they were 8 for 33 from 3, 24%. They were also 41% from the field. So they didn't shoot well from the field or from 3. They shot well from the foul line, though, 82%. We shot just 76% from the foul line, but 51% from the field and 36% from 3. Zubac was dominant, though. When he caught the ball down low, he caught it in very good areas, right around the basket where he didn't have to dribble too much, and the defense has less time to come double or help. He had some really nice jump hooks, and with both hands. I can't stress enough how much better that left hand's gotten for him. Like, it really puts a smile on my face when I see him dominate with those left-hand push shots, those left-hand jump hooks. The push shot was on in the pick and roll, and at times when James Harden's getting 2 thrown onto him deeper, where when Zoo gets the ball, he's not right at the rim. He's got to he's catching it at the foul line or he's catching it in the short roll. He's got to put it on the floor and make a decision. He's getting so much better at making those reads. He had this beautiful one where he caught the ball at the foul line, hard dribble, drop step, turn baseline, lefty off the glass. He did a great job on the offensive glass as well. I mean, the guy was just dominant. 18 points, 16 rebounds, another double-double to go along with an assist and a block and just 1 turnover. Zoo has been turning the ball over a good amount recently. Last 2 games, only 1 apiece. The game before that, only 2, and that's coming off of 2 straight games with 4. So he's starting to clean it up, and his efficiency is just incredible. This is his field goal percentage for each game in the last 5. This game, 82%. Last game, 79%. Game before that at Philly, 80%. Game before that against Sacramento, 62.5%. In the last game, or the game before that against Orlando, 73%. The guy is super efficient. His touch around the basket is elite. He shut off the rim in this game, got a double-double, dominated Alex Sarr, and was just a monster in the low post. And when he's getting the ball close to the basket and is working harder for that deep post position, I mean, he is very hard to guard. And what I love to see is him making the reads in that short roll. So really good stuff from Zoo. Another double-double. 12 and 8 on the season, 121 and 96 is the final. We successfully did not give any quarter in this one. Won the first quarter 37-26, won the second quarter 24-18. You know I love that 18. Holding a team under 20 points for a quarter is beautiful. We were up 61-44 at the half. Third quarter was a little more even. We outscored the Wiz 27-25 in that one, and then 33-27 in the fourth to successfully win every quarter and get a big win, which makes us 2-1 on the road trip, with it coming to an end on Friday against the Wolves. But coming up, I'm going to talk about the other guys and general sequences of the game. What did I think of the bench? Going to be talking about them coming up. I got to tell you a little something about skylight frames. You know, do you want to celebrate with and stay connected to people who are far away? During the holidays, I really miss my family. I miss my friends over in the East Coast from college, like majorly. Well, we've got the perfect gift for you. Skylight Frame is the touchscreen digital photo frame your whole family will love. Upload thousands of photos with your phone and watch them appear in seconds. It's so easy to use. Setup takes less than 60 seconds. Invite friends and family to easily share photos via the free Skylight mobile app or email. No account or subscription required. And you can add new photos straight from your phone from anywhere. It only takes a tap on your phone to send new photos to a frame across the country. It's the fastest, easiest way to keep loved ones in the loop. They'll feel so much more connected to you. And now, as a special limited time offer for our listeners, get $20 off your purchase of a Skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com/NBA. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/NBA. Get $20 off your purchase now at skylightframe.com/NBA. Get $20 off a Skylight frame at skylightframe.com/NBA. All right, so the Clippers winning this one, 121-96 at Washington. Couple pieces from other guys throughout the game. I thought Chris Dunn offensively didn't have it going, but defensively so active. And when there's a ball in a scrum, it feels like Derrick Jones is always going to be the one to take it away, which is a similar feeling that I have to Kawhi Leonard watching him play. So I just have to say Chris Dunn has great hands. And as I mentioned in the episode earlier on Wednesday, our best lineups, net rating-wise, have come with Chris Dunn involved. In this game, he didn't score, but he had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals, and didn't turn the ball over once. He was 0 for 2, missed 1 3, but he was a plus 17. So even with the donut, he found a way to contribute positively, and it's those kinds of guys that end up winning championships or finding their way in rotations for deep playoff teams. When you can go 0 for 2, have 0 points, and in 20 minutes, your team has won the game by 17 points, those are the type of guys that get those minutes because they're able to do other things to affect the game. And we've been talking about keeping the turnover number down. Our role players the last couple of games have done a pretty good job of that. Chris Dunn, no turnovers. Amir Coffey, no turnovers. Nico Batum, no turnovers. Even in garbage time when they came in, Bones Highland and Kai Jones, no turnovers. Mo Bamba, no turnovers. Terrence Mann, no turnovers. So several role players for us taking better care of the ball. Now, another role player for us who's just been spectacular on both ends of the floor all season long, Derrick Jones Jr. He did most of his work early in the game, but I thought he was very good. Surprisingly, didn't get to shoot a 3 in this entire game, but was 3 for 5 from the field, including that incredible up and under scoop layup I mentioned earlier. He had 6 points, 6 boards, an assist and a steal. He did turn the ball over 3 times though, but he was 3 for 5 from the field in 18 minutes. The guy's just been special in helping us win games by doing his work on both ends of the floor. An absolute bargain of a deal. Great stuff from DJJ. Good stuff in the short roll and attacking closeouts all season long. Then there's Amir Coffey, who I thought was pretty good on the break, especially in the beginning of the third quarter, but he didn't give us much in the half court. he was on the quieter side, but given that he stepped in for Norman Powell in these 5 games as a starter and we've gone 4-1, I think you've got to give him a lot of credit. His ball denial and off-ball attention to detail has been really good defensively throughout the season. He had 6 points in this game to go along with a rebound, 2 assists, and 2 steals. And as I mentioned earlier, no turnovers. He did shoot just 25% from the field on 2 for 8 shooting and 0 for 3 from deep. Did make his only 2 free throws in 21 minutes, though. But overall, I think Amir Coffey still made a positive impact. So those are the starters. Now let's talk about the bench. We did get some, minutes in garbage time for Kai Jones and Bones Highland, who linked up for an amazing alley-oop with the pass coming from beyond half court. And then Bones Highland hit 3 threes. So it was nice to see him get a little pep in his step and get some, a little flurry going. But not much to take away other than that. Kai Jones ended up having 4 points, 2 rebounds, and a block in 8 minutes on 2 for 2 shooting. And then Bones Highland, double figures for him, 10 points, a rebound, 2 assists, 2 steals on 3 for 6 shooting. And all his shots in the game were threes. That was his first double-digit scoring game of the season, so it was nice for him to get that. As far as him replacing KPJ in the rotation, I would not put him on the top of my list. But let's talk about KPJ, who in this game I think reverted back to his poor performance ways. That leaner, going to his right that he takes, I just can't stand that shot. It feels like he never makes it. He was turning the ball over. He was passing up open threes. I just didn't think he played well in this game. He was 1 for 9 from the field. He was 0 for 2 from 3, made his only 2 free throws. He had 4 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 2 turnovers in 25 minutes. I didn't think he was that great. Jordan Miller, though, he continues to make a solid impact. And he and Terrence Mann were putting on a show in garbage time. That's why I would label the segment homegrown cooking, because Jordan Miller and Terrence Mann were having a ball, turning defense into offense. As far as Jordan Miller, he does such a good job of finishing in the paint, whether it be floater range right when he gets inside the foul line or in the restricted area finishing through contact. He has really good touch, especially with his left hand. And he has this amazing ability to decelerate and stay on balance even when he's on one leg. While the defender has flown by or contested or jumped, he is still in the upward motion because he can stay on balance in that one leg. It's very impressive. And in this game late, it felt like he was being almost like, they were getting him ready or like grooming him almost to become more of a pick and roll ball handler. And if Jordan Miller can become a pick and roll ball handler and make reads, we got a guy that may be on the way to being a very, very, very good player in this league. Not just a good one. We're talking star potential. Because if you can create good shots and pick and roll consistently, changes your entire ceiling as a basketball player in this modern NBA. And Jordan Miller, very efficient. And he's good at getting to the paint too. One thing I've noticed about him is he's great at turning the corner. This is one thing that I struggled with as a kid, still struggle with sometimes now because I don't have big shoulders or anything like that. But a lot of it is the technique, knowing angles, and absorbing contact. Jordan Miller turns the corner and tries to get into the defender to create contact. Something that Paul George and Kevin Porter Jr. don't do a good enough job of. They oftentimes see the contacts coming, don't engage, and snatch back. I, as a smaller guard, had a tendency to do that as well. But I got to learn from someone like Jordan Miller, turning that corner, getting into the body, and then finishing strong. He was 7 for 10 in this game, 1 for 3 from 3. Did miss both his free throws, had 15 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Did have 3 turnovers, but as I said, they're trying to use him in more of those pick and roll situations, I think, to develop him a bit. And then Terrence Mann, I thought it was a tale of 2 ends of the floor when he was playing actual minutes. Defensively, very solid, created 2 turnovers, actually more throughout the game, but in the first half, 2 turnovers. Did get beat on a backdoor cut. And then offensively, though, looks like he doesn't want the ball. Like, he'll get it, do like a dribble move and go nowhere with it because doesn't have actual intention to score, and then he'll look to give it to a teammate and get into a dribble handoff because he's unsure of himself on that end. That's very clear to me. And then when the game's decided, he starts playing amazing, and you see him, throwing behind the back passes and going up and down. And so the jury's still out on Terrence right now for me in terms of when Norm comes back. It would assumingly be Jordan Miller that goes back to the bench because he's on a 2-way contract. But when Kawhi comes back, is Terrence that odd man out? Right now, I'd have to say yes. He had 6 points, 4 assists, and a career-high 4 steals in this game, so that was nice. And look, I'll say this. He shot 2 for 5, 0 for 1 from 3, 2 for 3 from the foul line in 25 minutes. Terrence is playing better off the bench, and hopefully, even with these games where it's garbage time, where he's getting a good run of play and finding his form, hopefully that gives him confidence and translates into regular time. And then last but not least, Mr. Undefeated himself. Actually, no, let's go to Nico Batum first. 3 points, 3 rebounds, had a couple of offensive rebound tips, 2 assists, 1 steal, no turnovers, shot 2 threes, which were his only shots, and made one of them. Nico just finds a way to put his little touches on a game to help you win. He was very good for me, a plus 18 in 25 minutes, but his stat line looks very pedestrian. That's kind of the story with Nico, right? His stat line looks pedestrian, but his impact never is. And then you've got, or not never, but you know what I mean. But Mo Bamba, Mr. Undefeated. I have one thing to say about him. Even though we're 6-0 with him, I'm not fully sold on the whole pick and pop big thing. Yes, he's had 3 seasons where he shot very well from 3. Last year in particular, he shot 39% from deep. He shot 38% in 2023 and then 38% in 2022. So the last 3 years, he shot really well from 3. I guess the shot hasn't come for him yet. But so far, I like him rolling to the basket in pick and roll better than pick and pop. He was 0 for 4 from 3 in this game, but 2 for 3 from 2. So a 2 for 7 overall, 6 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. I love the way he's playing, but I'm still not fully sold on that 3 ball. So that's something to keep an eye out on. But really solid win. Harden, my player of the game, even though I thought he was terrible defensively, outside of like one good possession against Jordan Poole. There were some moments where I'm like, we're just lucky that the Wizards suck, because James Harden was moping around. I shouldn't say moping, but just wandering around after the Wizards would get an offensive rebound and we're not talking and communicating and trying to scramble back. He's just waltzing around like doing nothing. So defensively, I thought he was awful. Yesterday, the Celtics game, I didn't think he was good defensively either. But the couple games before that, I thought he was better defensively. And offensively, he was masterful. So he's my player of the game. I think Zubac was a second. But 4-1 without Norm. 12-8 in the first 20 without Kawhi. The next episode will be, I don't know, am I going to release an episode on Friday? Am I going to record on Thanksgiving? I don't know. Probably have an episode on Saturday because we're going to be playing the Wolves on Friday. So appreciate everybody. 12-8 through 20. I think that's overachieving and even better than I expected. If I had to choose what our record would have been, I would have said 7-13 or 8-12. And again, it's not because of James Harden. I said James Harden would average 20 points, 9 assists. But the rebounds, I would say, a little bit better than I expected there. And then, I mean, his average is going to go up. I wouldn't be surprised if he's averaging 21 points after this game. So, yeah. The rebounding is where I've been impressed. The shooting splits have actually been worse than I expected. But Norman Powell's overachieved. Zubac is actually getting fed. And then Chris Dunn's been even better than I expected. We've been very resilient. And outside of Kawhi and a little bit of an injury to Norman Powell, we've been very healthy otherwise. So, I've been impressed. We've overachieved. I've been wrong so far. We've been even better than I expected. And, yeah, I'm appreciative of how hard the team's playing. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, where I went live to give an unfiltered raw reaction after the game. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video. And comment what you thought of the game, what you think of the Clippers through 20. And obviously, don't forget about the newsletter. Your free Locked On Clippers Daily newsletter written by yours truly. Sign up for free now. It really helps at lockedondaily.com. It's super easy. 500-word newsletter. You love it. Even if you can't listen to the episode, you can read that and get your Clipper fix. Make sure if you don't watch this video on YouTube, you also can listen on audio wherever you get your podcasts. Never forget the audio version. The age-old proverb continues, go Clippers.